Okay, so you know you have to start that project, but you keep procrastinating. Or you decided to make a change and stop doing, I don't know, insert any habit here, like overeating, drinking, buying vintage stamps. But the pull of old habits keeps drawing you back in. Or you yearn for a healthier body, but the thought of starting exercise just feels too daunting and stressful and anxiety provoking. And so you keep saying, well, maybe tomorrow. For me, it's kind of like standing at the edge of cold water. I want to jump in. I know it's going to be exhilarating and refreshing. And I can even list all the psychological and the physiological reasons why it's going to be good for me. But I just stand there and do this battle with my mind. So even when you know the outcome is going to be positive, you'll feel healthier with more energy. You'll feel proud of your accomplishment. You'll realize a dream that you've had for a long, long time. There's still something about changing our state that can be so hard. It's not even that the activity itself is necessarily that difficult. You know once you get going, it's going to be easy or at least manageable. There's just something about changing our state from doing to not doing, or from not doing to doing, from being out of the water to being in the water, and vice versa. Crossing that boundary just seems so hard. You can think of it one way. This can be termed sometimes as experiential avoidance in psychological terms. It's totally normal. It's just that the amygdala in our brains fears the change because it's unpredictable and therefore could be dangerous to our sense of self. And even when we are yearning for that exact change, it stops us. So you keep telling yourself, "Oh, I'll do it when I feel insert the desired emotion," or I can't do it if I'm feeling sad or tired or anything. Unfortunately, that's the brain also being resistant to change, and it will find a way to manufacture or repress the emotions in any way possible to keep you safe, to stop you from changing. One way out of this pattern is to get some coaching and to practice also exposure with something that you actually have an element of control over. Now, you can't control the intensity of the feelings or the thoughts around your goal, because that just doesn't really work, but you can determine for how much or how long you would be willing to 100% dive in. So let me explain. If you wanted to learn to jump from a height, but it scares you, you just find the height that you would be 100% willing to try. If it's an inch, that's great. It takes you just that bit closer to your goal. Likewise, if you're trying to create a healthier body, but exercise is daunting and you're feeling resistance to it, what's the smallest intentional movement you could do with exercise in mind? Like walk around the block or stand up from a chair, wiggle your toes. Putting the experience of exercise together with the intention helps to jumpstart your journey toward this positive reinforcement, which makes the next step even easier. Another example, let's say speaking in front of crowds makes you panic. And so what are the variables you could change? Like the size of the crowd, the topic, the length of time you're speaking. We got to find ways to just turn the dials a little bit, just to the point where you can commit, and then let that be your entry point into larger and larger patterns of living. So the reason this is so important for our lives is because the pattern of avoidance also functions to make our lives smaller and less fulfilling. So if you learn the skills and the processes of gaining power over your tendencies of avoidance, you'll be able to engage in larger and better patterns for living a full life. It's not about the one thing that you're avoiding. It's this pattern of how you deal with change. So this is why I like to use cold immersion as a template for learning to cross that bridge between avoidance of to immersion in the experience, because it's something we can all relate to, and it brings with it an almost universal avoidance reaction. And once we learn the process, that takes us from fearing the cold to actually feeling eager to jump in. We can transfer that process to any desired area of growth in our lives. It really can transfer. Likewise, I'm teaching an introductory workshop on the principles of cold immersion coming up live, and it also serves for a template of what we do on a larger scale in my Roots of Moving Freely program. The workshop is going to be starting on March 1st, and you can also find all the information about my programs on my website. So check it out.